Eddie Kingston. I'm just full of joy for Eddie Kingston.
Get after it. Go off on this.
All right. So Eddie Kingston has long talked about how All Japan Pro Wrestling saved his life.
Yes.
And has talked at length about how falling in love with especially All Japan Wrestling. So this little mini story they told. Yeah.
Real quick. Like they talked about how much he loved Japanese wrestling, but they really neglected to tell that story.
Yeah.
Over this
That's
week.
true.
And the fact it literally saved his life.
Yes.
It probably kept him. Yeah.
Well,
it kept him alive.
They'll get to that. They did get to it in the end.
Okay. I must have missed that because I was watching it at 120% speed.
Okay, so they set it up with bringing in Konosuke Takeshita, who's now All Elite, which is awesome.
That was such great news.
Yeah, that was really great news. And he's moving here and everything. And Jun Akiyama are coming into town to have a match with Eddie Kingston and Monkey, a.k.a. Ortiz.
Right.
Out of nowhere. And so you're like, okay, that's great. Are they going to explain this? Like, we know that if we know his backstory, but, to the general audience. So they have a pre-match promo where Eddie Kingston talks about I can't remember the date, but in 1998, I saw a Tokyo Dome match between Hiroshi Hase and Jun Akiyama, an All Japan match. And it blew his mind. He was a young kid getting into fights. He's depressed all the time. And he sees this match with Hiroshi Hase and Jun Akiyama. And he says, at that moment, I decided I'm going to be a wrestler. And one day I'm going to wrestle Jun Akiyama. And so then he said, tonight's the night, right? Okay.
Tonight's
so they have
the night.
That. Then they have the interview where Renee Paquette interviews Eddie before the match. This is, how do you feel? Or no, he has the tag match.
Right.
They have some moments together, but the finish doesn't involve them. And I think Takeshita got the win over Ortiz. And so it was like, obviously you were kind of like, you got a little taste, but that was it. They went off the air. Then they released a video that was after they went off the air where Eddie Kingston grabs the microphone and yells at Tony Khan and says, get out here. I didn't get enough. I want Jun Akiyama at Full Gear. Give it to me now. And Tony Khan does his like freak out Rigo's voice and the thing, he loses his voice yelling into the thing. You got it. And gives him the match.
I love how he just became like a 1930s 80-year-old newsman.
That's kind of what he sounds like when he yells at him. He screams into the mic.
That's true.
And Akiyama comes out face to face. Okay. So then they go to the pre-show. Renee Paquette is sitting there interviewing Eddie Kingston. Did you get to watch the pre-show?
Yes.
Okay. Renee's interviewing him, and Eddie's already almost in tears. And he can't even really talk. He doesn't even cut a promo. He's just like, I don't have the words. This is everything I've dreamed of. It's all happening. I don't even know what to say.
Right.
And then, Renee's like, well, okay, let's wrap it up. Then he looks at her and he just looks at Renee and just goes, thanks, sis. And I was like, oh, already my heart's grown 2 sizes. Thanks, sis, to Renee. So then he has the match with Akiyama. It's everything you hoped it would be. Everything you could tell it's everything he hoped to be. He got to throw exploders. He got to take exploders. And he wins. Beats him with the back fist.
First win in AEW. Congratulations.
First win in AEW. That's right. Finally broke that losing streak. Yep. Akiyama's just laying dead on the mat for him. And he just melts. Just sobbing, crying. All the fans are cheering. I start welling up in tears. And he bows, genuflects to Akiyama. Akiyama gets up. Akiyama bows to Eddie. Pays tribute to him. Akiyama is kind of bashful about it. Gives him the ring. And then our old friend Eddie shows up again. And he grabs the microphone and starts asking how much time he has on pay-per-view.
Oh my God.
Says, I wanted to pay tribute to the Four Pillars, Kobashi, Misawa, Kawada, Teao, Jun Akiyama, and he starts naming off all the people and, all this stuff. I hope I made you proud. And then he starts plugging the show, saying, you know, we're going to see Mox kick MJF's ass. I want to see my girl Jamie Hayter win the world title. If you're not doing this, you need to buy the show. And then they wrap him up, and it's like the greatest go home, the greatest end to a pre-show I've ever seen on pay-per-view.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oh my God. I really did love this pre-show, by the way.
I did too. And then the part that I think you haven't seen yet is there's a post-match interview, a post-show interview where he's backstage after the match.
I've not seen this. Didn't know it existed.
And I think it's Lexi, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was Renee.
Got to get her a
and she interviews him, and Eddie's now in this like state of zen. He's just sitting there. He's peaceful. He's at rest. And she's like, tell me how you feel. And he's like, you know, and this is where I thought, oh, this is great, because they tie it all together. He goes, you know, I've been having a really hard time lately. I've lost control. I can't control myself in matches. My friends, Ruby and Ortiz, are trying to keep me straight. I've been tagging with Monkey. And, you know, when he's around, when my girl Ruby's around, when Mox is around, I can keep it together. But when I'm on my own, I can't trust myself, and I'm just killing myself. But this match with Jun, it set me straight. I'm now on the straight and narrow, and I'm going to go for the world title.
I believe all that. I believe everything he says there.
He's just in this euphoric state. And I loved it because he tied it all into the story they were telling that we thought was such bullcrap.
Yeah.
About all the DQs and all that stuff. What story where are they going with this? And it was all building to this match where he finally got to live his dream and wrestle the guy who saved his life. And he has a new lease on life, and now he's focused and telling a story. Now, I hope that's my should have been on the Dynamite for the week, is they have to show this interview or do it again on Dynamite. But
they're not.
If this is the story they're telling with Eddie, and this were to lead, say, to a match with MJF in like 3 months, I think it'll be money.
Man, I hadn't thought about that because I hadn't seen that. I really, really hope that's a place we can go very soon. I really hope it is. Yeah. And hopefully he goes on a winning streak, and so, you know, and that's part of the story, that this is the new Eddie Kingston right now, the newly energized Eddie Kingston, who's not falling apart.
Yeah. The Mad King Road.
Man, give me Mad King Road. I'm ready for that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You told a hell of a story there, Kevin.